Part 3. Identity and Income. In the previous chapter, we talked about the wealth ceiling, the invisible limit your identity places on how much money you allow yourself to earn. But the wealth ceiling is only part of the story, because identity doesn't just limit income, identity predicts income. Long before someone's bank account changes, their internal identity has already shifted. And if you look closely, you can see this pattern everywhere. The identity before the outcome. Think about entrepreneurs who eventually build large companies. Before the revenue appears, before the success becomes visible, they already see themselves differently. They see themselves as builders, problem solvers, creators of value. That identity influences how they approach problems. They take initiative, they experiment, they persist longer than most people. From the outside, it looks like ambition, but underneath, it's identity, because behavior always follows identity. Why two people act differently. Imagine two people starting the same job on the same day, same role, same salary, same responsibilities, but they see the job differently. The first person sees themselves as an employee. Their mindset is simple: do the job, complete the tasks, collect the paycheck. The second person sees themselves as a professional, building long-term value. Their mindset is different. They learn faster. They solve problems. They look for ways to increase their impact. After a few years, their income paths begin separating, not because one worked harder, but because their identities shaped different behaviors. The self-fulfilling financial story. Psychologists call this phenomenon a self-fulfilling identity loop. The story you believe about yourself becomes the behavior you repeat. The behavior you repeat becomes the results you produce, and those results reinforce the original story. For example, if someone believes, "I'm terrible with money," they might avoid learning about investing, avoid budgeting, avoid financial decisions. The result? Poor financial outcomes, which confirms their belief, "I knew I was bad with money." The loop continues. But the opposite loop also exists. If someone believes, "I'm learning how to build wealth," they begin reading, studying, experimenting, improving. Those actions gradually improve financial results, which reinforces the new belief, and the loop continues upward. The hidden identity of wealth builders. People who build wealth over time tend to share certain identity traits. They often see themselves as problem solvers. Instead of waiting for instructions, they look for ways to create value. Owners of outcomes. They don't blame circumstances easily. They ask what they can improve. Long-term thinkers. They care less about immediate comfort and more about future freedom. Learners. They constantly acquire new skills because skills increase earning power. None of these traits require a specific degree or a specific background. They are identity choices, and once someone adopts them, their financial trajectory begins changing. Why identity feels hard to change. If identity is so powerful, why don't more people simply change it? Because identity is tied to belonging. Humans evolved in small tribes. Being accepted by the group meant survival. Being rejected meant danger. So our brains developed a deep desire to stay aligned with our social environment. If everyone around you struggles financially, becoming wealthy may feel uncomfortable, not logically, but emotionally, because success can create distance from familiar environments, different habits, different conversations, different priorities. The brain interprets this change as risk, so sometimes it pulls people back toward familiar patterns. The first identity shift. For most people, the first financial identity shift is small. They go from saying, "I'll never understand money," to saying, "I want to understand money." That small shift opens the door to learning. Learning leads to skill. Skill leads to confidence. Confidence leads to opportunity. Opportunity leads to income, all starting from a tiny change in identity. Identity creates opportunity filters. Another powerful effect of identity is something called opportunity filtering. Your brain constantly filters the world around you. You notice opportunities that align with your identity and ignore ones that don't. For example, someone who identifies as an investor notices market opportunities. Someone who identifies as a creator notices business opportunities. Someone who identifies as a problem solver notices inefficiencies others ignore. The same world contains thousands of opportunities, but identity determines which ones you see. The skill identity. One of the most powerful financial identities someone can adopt is the identity of skill builder. Instead of chasing money directly, they focus on becoming more valuable, because income follows value. When someone builds rare skills, their earning power increases naturally. Skills compound, just like investments. Communication skills, technical skills, leadership skills, sales skills, problem-solving skills. Each new skill expands the number of opportunities available, and over time, income rises with it. The time horizon identity. Another key difference between wealthy thinkers and struggling thinkers is time horizon. People with short time horizons focus on immediate rewards, quick purchases, short-term comfort, fast results. But people building wealth often operate on longer timelines, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They understand something most people underestimate. Small decisions repeated for long periods create enormous results. Saving consistently, investing consistently, learning consistently, improving consistently. Time magnifies everything. The identity of ownership. One final identity shift separates wealth builders from everyone else. Ownership. Employees trade time for money. Owners build systems that produce value. Ownership can take many forms: a business, investments, intellectual property, digital products, rental properties. Ownership creates leverage. Leverage creates scale. Scale creates wealth. But the first step toward ownership is psychological. Someone must first see themselves as capable of owning something, creating something, building something, before the opportunity appears. The identity question. If income follows identity, then the most important financial question becomes, who do you believe you are? Not who you want to be someday, not who you hope to become, but who you believe you are right now. Because that belief quietly shapes your financial life, your career choices, your habits, your opportunities, and ultimately, your income. Expanding the identity. The goal is not to suddenly believe you are a millionaire. That kind of forced identity rarely works. Instead, identity expands gradually, step by step. I'm learning about money. I'm improving my financial habits. I'm building assets. I'm creating value. Each statement moves the identity forward slightly, and over time, those small shifts create a completely different financial trajectory. This channel isn't about fast wins, it's about steady progress. If that's the kind of mindset you are building, subscribe and stick around. Please like the video if it gave you more perspective. It helps this community to grow quietly, just like growth should. See you in the next one.